So the largest water region that doesn't touch a glacier region.
5. That's it.
That's touching glacier.
Hot chocolate.
That's touching glacier. Just 1, 2, 3. Tied?
Hey, it's me.
Oh,
I have 5.
5? Alright. You win the clownfish.
I got the canopy.
Next is what?
Sea turtle.
So largest region of water adjacent to desert.
Well, unless if somebody else has less than 1, I'm not gonna get it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I still got 5. This
7.
This is 1, 2, 3,
And this is 1, 2,
6,
3, 4,
8,
5, 6,
but
7, 8. And they have desert. I win!
It would sad if I had a desert here because 8.
Who's next?
Mountain not touching forest.
What is this? A bighorn
Glacier.
sheep?
It's glacier.
Is that what this is? Largest mountain touching adjacent. No, not touching glacier.
It's 1.
All mine is next to glacier. Oh, I've got 2.
I got 1. If it was touching glacier, then I would definitely win.
Okay, mine is 2.
What about you? 0? Yeah, my mom's touching. 2. I only got 1.
Boop,
And then
boop.
scorpion again. I win.
Scorpion desert with no ice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7.
Mine are all tiny.
I added since last time.
I just have 3.
Okay. Okay, stop the video.
Don't mind our cruddy door that needs to be stripped and repainted, but look how lovely. All our Christmas cards. These are the ones that have come in so far. Hey, guy. You're featured in like every video, and I don't think I've ever actually shown you. You're always the background noise. Never the star. It's because you don't actually like any of us, do you? Do you? Step up. Oh, so nice.
Either God of his character die or Delta damage die.
These are nice. Yeah, bye. Can we be friends?
Well, I'll go ahead and deal 2 damage to that. He's dead. He's dead now. He needs 1 more damage.
Friends? You want to sit on my shoulder?
Deal 2 damage to you. Second.
Okay. I'm ready to do my Santa Claus ranking. There. Okay. And so I'll post here pictures of the Santa Clauses I'm referencing. Tell me what you think. Agree? Disagree? Cite your sources. Okay, so I'll start with the Santas that did not make my list. First of all, I've never been The Miracle on 34th Street has never been one of my traditional Christmas movies. I'm sure I've seen it. Either version, I'm pretty sure I've seen at some point. I believe my mother-in-law, that's her Christmas go-to movie. meh. So I know there's the whole like, you know, tugging the beard and he must be real. Not my Santa Claus. That movie doesn't do anything for me. I should try watching it again though. As an adult, maybe it will. But because I didn't like imprint on it as a child, that's not my Santa Claus. And then surprisingly, movies that are part of what we watch annually. The Rankin and Bass Santa Clauses. First of all, from Santa Claus is Coming to Town, you get that Mickey Rooney Santa Claus. I do enjoy him, and he does crack me up. Love the movie. Didn't make my top 10. And neither did the older, you know, typical Santa Claus from the Rankin and Bass, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That Santa's kind of a jerk. Yeah, he also was rude to Rudolph with his nose so bright until he needed him. Does not make my top 10. This one, surprisingly, you know, I watched the movies as a kid. My husband watched the movie as a kid, and it was one that I think he was more attached to. Like, his family watched movies annually more than mine did. But the Santa Claus, starring Tim Allen, and then the second and third ones in that franchise, funny, entertaining, have seen them multiple times. But when it comes to favorite Santa Clauses, Tim Allen doesn't make the cut. One of those where the humor is like overdone. Like Jim Carrey, I'm not a fan. And even like a lot of Robin Williams, rest in peace, like his comedic style is a little over the top for me. It's too much. So Tim Allen as Santa Claus didn't crack my top 10. And I feel like those are some really popular Santa Clauses. Owen, what are you doing? It's least to most favorite. And number 10 is Santa/Balder from Brahms' book Krampus, which I just read, as you know, because it was heavily featured throughout my vlogmas. I really like the way Brahm painted Santa and just the description he used for him. I like that, you know, Santa's the bad guy in the book, but he's also just kind of a pawn of the gods. He's got a job to do. He's a victim of fate as much as anyone else. And then just the visually, I liked what Brahm did with the character. So he cracks my list at number 10. Number 9 is actually a movie I did not like. It was a Netflix original movie from, I believe, 2019. And it was called Klaus. And I think David Spade is the voice of like the main character, who is a postman who is sent to set up a post office in this town where like there's two sides of the town and everybody hates. There's like two families and they've kind of split the town and everybody fights. Nobody goes to school, nobody sends mail, and then off in the woods there is a man who lives by himself, like up the mountain, and that man becomes Santa Claus. And so the part of the movie that focused on his story, I loved. But then the whole like town feud thing was ridiculous and really cheesy and made the movie a flop for me. I did like the Santa story, and I wish that got more focus. Yeah, more attention, more of like the main focus. So that Santa is number 9. He's a very large, the way he's drawn, he's just oversized compared to the other characters. I love that. Big, strong, and yet super gentle and like warm-hearted. And his character is actually filled with a lot of like grief. And so that's like his backstory, why he's making toys, has a lot to do with the fact that he and his wife were preparing for children that they never ended up getting. It's really sad, but it was a really sweet story hidden in a really ridiculous animated movie. Number 8 is another Klaus, and this time he is the title character of a graphic novel series written by Grant Morrison for Boom Studios, which I believe is like an imprint of DC Comics. And Grant Morrison wrote a lot of Batman comics. And I read it years ago, and again, it's one that just like visually, I liked that Santa Claus. And it's another one where like you see Santa as a young, strapping, muscular young man, and over the course of like the stories, you see him become more of the figure that we associate with traditional Santa Claus. But that is, from what I remember, and I don't remember much other than like the look of it, it's probably a more mature story, just from like a fantasy violence standpoint. What number are we on? 7. Number 7, and if you know me, you're probably surprised this isn't higher on my list, but Sandy Claus, or Jack Skellington as Santa Claus. But so if you're familiar with The Nightmare Before Christmas, you know he's misheard Santa Claus and thinks it's Sandy Claus because as the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, he kind of spookifies everything. So Nightmare Before Christmas is a favorite movie of mine from childhood till now. I love it. Love the music, love the visuals, and I love the way Jack is kind of working through his existential crisis by trying something new. And he tried his best doing Christmas in his style. And that leads right into my number 6 favorite Santa Claus, which is the actual Santa Claus from Nightmare Before Christmas. He is kidnapped in the course of the movie and locked away to stay out of Jack's way, so that Jack can do Christmas in his way. But once, Jack realizes it's not working out according to his plan, and he goes to rescue Santa Claus from Oogie Boogie, I just love the way Santa looks at him as like a bumpy sleigh ride. And then is like, of course there's time to fix Christmas. I'm Santa Claus. And so there's a little bit of arrogance and like sassiness. And at the same time, forgiveness. He does end up, even though the citizens of Halloween Town have completely mangled his holiday, he still gives them a little gift. Like, he knows, as wrong as it went, there was no bad intention. Number 5 is one excuse me. I thought it would actually be, just barely squeaking in at number 10 when my husband mentioned it last night. But as I'm making the list, he made it pretty high, and that is the Santa from Home Alone. He's in the movie for all of 3 minutes. And, he's not even a very convincing looking Santa Claus. He's very obviously one of those like photo with Santa impersonators. But he is number 5 on my list because I think he captures the spirit of Santa Claus that I really appreciate. So when Kevin approaches him, the Pictures with Santa little location is done. It's closed up. I think, is it even Christmas Eve at that point? I'm asking Oliver because he would know.
I think
right?
It's either the day before or like that day.
So like the lead up, like the season is over. He's done his job. He's clocking out as Santa Claus. His shift is over. He probably doesn't even have to, do this again until next year. But Kevin approaches him at his car while he's smoking a cigarette, cursing about parking tickets. He's pulled down his beard. He's disheveled. He's tired. He's grumpy. He's cold. It's Chicago. But when he sees a child has approached him, he tosses out his cigarette, addresses him, even, fixes his beard because he knows, like, this is important for the kid. And, Kevin's request touches his heart. And then he even gives him what he can. He doesn't have much, but he gives him a few Tic Tacs because no child should go away from Santa Claus empty-handed. And I have a habit of, reading too much into things. And so where that's probably just a funny scene of seeing this wreck of a Santa Claus interact with the kid and give him Tic Tacs, to me, that scene means a lot. And it really warms my heart. And so that gets him top 5 billing as one of my favorite Santa Clauses. Number 4 is the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. Like, old school, traditional. This is the birth of the Santa Claus image as it exists in the United States. And then I'm sure at this point it's a pretty global image of Santa Claus. I know country to country there's variation on how he's depicted. But in the US, Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus. The way we picture him as a traditional, round, rosy-cheeked, jolly fella. Which is funny because a lot of what makes these other Santas my favorite Santa, the rest of the Santas on this list, what I love about them is the way that they stray from that traditional Santa icon, that traditional Santa image. And yet, the number 1 traditional Santa image makes my top 4. Number 3, my favorite Santa Clauses is Ed Asner as Santa Claus from the movie Elf. I think he does a good job of being a traditional type Santa with a modern sense of humor. And I love the beef he has with the Central Park Rangers for their crowd control methods during the Simon and Garfunkel concert in Central Park. Love that. I love the way he gives Buddy advice when Buddy is off to New York to meet his dad or look for his dad, and he gives him the advice, you know, like, if you see gum on the ground, it's not free candy. What else did he say to him?
I just remember that.
Yeah, that's the one that stands out. And, you know, he's talking to this grown man who's obviously, like, an idiot. And yet, you know, there's no judgment. Number 2 and number 1. I mean, ask me another day, their positions might swap, but my official ranking is as follows. Runner up for best Santa Claus, in my opinion, is North from The Rise of the Guardians. So voiced by Alec Baldwin. You know, he does this accent thing that gets a little weird. I love the tattoos North has on his forearms. He's got like these swords. I love his fierce protectiveness. And then his sense of wonder. Yeah, and again, just oversized. Come here. Need to be quiet, Daisy. Yeah, he's another one of those Santa depictions as like just like very big. Takes up a lot of space. But is a sweetheart. He's a cinnamon roll Santa. And then number 1 is Kurt Russell as Santa Claus in the Christmas Chronicles. I could pass on the sequel, except that Goldie Hawn is featured more as Mrs. Claus in the sequel, and she's a very witchy Mrs. Claus, and I feel like there's a lot of sadness in her story, but otherwise just watch the first Christmas Chronicles movie. Kurt Russell is a more trimmed down Santa Claus, so there's some fat phobia issues going on. He hates being depicted as that Coca-Cola classic Santa. The way Kurt Russell's beard is like curled. I love the fit of his coat, and the fur trim is not like that pure white, but he's just so stylish. And there's a scene where Santa is arrested because, of course, no one believes he's Santa, and he's in the prison and needs to get the Christmas spirit up. So, of course, what does he do? A sing-along. And he approaches 2 other men who are in the cell with him, and he asks, like, hey, do you still have those instruments I gave you in, you know, back in whatever year? And the guys are like, you know, some other habits took precedence, and we pawned them. And Santa's like, I know. No judgment. He just gives him another one. And then after they sing their song, Christmas spirit is up, and he's saying goodbye, he just looks at everyone who's been arrested, and he says, try to be good. And I just love that, because it's like there's no judgment for their decisions, for whatever wrongs someone has made. And part of what I love about Santa Claus is this unconditional love that he wants to spread, and the joy and the cheer and the spirit and just the magic. That's why Santa Claus is important to me. That's what I love to see in Santa Claus depictions, and I think that's why Santa Claus is loved by my kids to this day. What'd you think? Who's your favorite Santa, and who would you have put on your list? Okay, tomorrow's vlog is going to be a lot more book related. I finished Eileen. I read Truman Capote's Christmas Memory. I surprisingly really enjoyed that one. And Oliver this morning filmed a little book chat about a book series that he has nearly completed. So my Santa discussion got way too long, so I'm gonna put Oliver's chat in tomorrow's vlog and wrap up my thoughts on Eileen and the Truman Capote short story. So we'll talk books then. Bye.